All right. Make sure this is recording. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. All right, and welcome back, everybody, to the Almost Awesome podcast, number 16. Of course, we got me manning the mic, the main mic, Mark, man, me, Pirate Lolo. Of course, like always, we got our co-host, my brother, Kid Reynolds, Matt, doing it good, doing it big, like he always does. And today, we have a special guest with us, Miss Laurie Reyes. How are you, Laurie?
I'm good. Doing great.
I didn't ask Matt this, so Matt, how are you doing as well?
Dude, I'm doing good. I think you hit it on the head, man. Killing the game like this. That's what I do.
Cool. So, usually, basically what we've been doing now is that we let the guests pick a theme of sorts for the podcast. And Laurie, your theme this time was a cool jacket, right?
Yes.
Now, what kind of like led you to picking that theme? Because you could pick anything.
Yeah. Well, I got this jacket recently and haven't been able to use it too much. Got it from recently went thrift store shopping and surprisingly found one that was like a block away from my apartment, which I didn't know existed.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was just like, oh dang. And then I got this there. It's suede.
Nice,
And and it is Florida, so you don't often get to wear it. So gotta use that excuse, and there you go. Gotta show it off.
Nice. Perfect. Worked out
I
perfectly.
like that.
And so then
in
I wanted to
Florida.
see. I mean, jackets always look cool, so I figured if I made you guys wear a jacket, it would probably look cool.
It
True.
works.
Hopefully
It
we do.
works.
Hopefully we do.
I think we do. I think you do. I think that's a cool jacket.
Thanks,
You gave
man.
us a full show earlier. Spoiler alert. It looks good.
Thanks. I appreciate it. You look great as well. If we're gonna play, are we doing that?
I was waiting.
I mean, you didn't have to. I feel like that's one of the things that Florida really misses out on is winter style,
Yeah.
which is like so cool. I love jackets and scarves and like hats, like winter. Oh, it's a whole other world. But anyways, I don't mean to brag
No.
because Chicago has winter.
Brag all you want, because we don't get winter here. We get summer and then not so
Hurricane.
hot summer. Oh yeah.
Hurricanes.
And then hurricane, and then
Then rainy and then
Is it summer already?
dang, summer again. Nice. So, because we were talking prior to this, Laurie, you kind of teased something that you kind of had like some exciting news to share, and you didn't want us to check up on it because you said you posted on Twitter.
yeah. So I was looking for a little while, but I actually got the job at this place I was trying to transfer to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Congrats.
that's awesome.
So I mean, it's still within like the same overarching company, but I'm moving just to a different location, different department, different people, good energy, good vibes,
Nice.
and yeah, that was basically it. And I was able to put in my official notice today, so that's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
Two
So it's
weeks. You got 2 weeks there, and then you transition, or is it smoother
unfortunately,
because it's the same thing? Oh, it's same.
Unfortunately, it's 4 weeks.
Wow.
It's like negotiation between like departments and stuff. I think that's how it's been. But yeah, it's 4 weeks. It sounds like such a long time, but gosh. But I'm excited.
That's
Nice.
awesome. At least the ball's rolling.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's sweet.
there was an Akko Taco story.
Ooh,
Okay.
these are the best.
Go
So-
on.
So I had I mentioned to this other manager that I was like, hey, I would like to transfer here. What is the process? Like, I'm interested. I know I have to apply. I have to interview. Let me know when it pulls up into, when the position's open, when it's posted, and I'll apply and I'll do everything. And she's just like, okay, cool. I'll let you know. And it's been like it's been like almost like a month since I first said that. And I have emailed and checked up on them since then. But they're just like, oh, we'll let you know. Like, basically, there was like computer stuff going on in the background that was taking a while. So she calls me yesterday on my work phone, and she was just like, "Oh, hey, Laurie, guess what?" And I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" She's like, "Oh, it's posted," and I'm like, "Oh, cool." And she's like, "Okay, so just go ahead and apply and like go ahead and give your 4 weeks and everything." And I was just like, "Okay, awesome." And she's like, "Oh, and by the way, I talked to your manager," and I was like, "You did?" I was like, "Wait, excuse me? You did what?" And she's just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I talked to him and like he's cool with it, and like he kind of expected it to happen because I've been picking up shifts over there." But she was like, "Oh, she's like, yeah, yeah. So just he's ready for it. He knows, like he knows, and this is your actually this is the date you're gonna start." And I was just like, "Wait a minute. So you've got my date already? You talked to my manager?" I'm like,
Dang.
and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I had nothing prepared. And honestly, I am, and the position was just posted, so I didn't even do any paperwork. So I'm like, and since it wasn't posted, I thought maybe she was just like being too gung ho about it, and so I actually didn't talk to him all of yesterday while I was at work. I was just kind of avoiding him, but to be honest, it's very easy to avoid him. Like, just do your work, and you're like, he doesn't bother you, and you don't bother him, and whatever. And so I didn't talk to him all of yesterday, and then today I checked again the website. The position's still not visible to me. So I'm just like, are they like messing with me right now? Like, where is this? So I call over there. I end up with not talking to the manager, but the person directly underneath the manager. And I'm just like, "Hey, so she said this. She said it's posted. She said this is my date, but like I can't talk to my boss if I have no actual paperwork to back it up. Like, what if you guys are messing with me and I'm gonna just lose my job?"
Yeah, just gone for. Yeah, we never really had a job.
Yeah, what's going on? So she was just like, "No, it's off good. Just talk to him. It's posted. It's there." And then I finally see it around like 5 p.m. today, so I posted it. And then around that time period, I'm walking down the hallway. My boss is standing at the end of the hallway. There's nobody else in this hallway. So I make eye contact, and in my head, I was like, I can't look away now. If I look away and I don't talk to him, he knows I'm avoiding him. So I go up so I'm just like, "Oh, hey." And he's just like, "Hey." And then he says, "Do we need to talk?" And I'm like, "Oh, yes, about that. I was going to talk to you." I was like, "Oh my God, this is like," in my head, I was like, "Please just shoot me right now." Like, this is the worst. He's like, "Do you have a minute right now?" And I'm like, "Oh, I mean, we're about to start a case, but I think I do have I have like 5 minutes that I can like talk to you real quick." And he's just like, "Okay, perfect. Let's go to my office." And so we go in his office, and then I'm basically, "Hey, I heard that you talked to so and so," and he stops me. He interrupts me. He does that all the time. He's just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, like she talked to me, and I know it wasn't like." In my head, I instantly thought this isn't how Laurie would have wanted to do it, and I was just like, "Okay, at least, I mean, I guess at least you knew." And overall, the exchange was very positive, and he was just like, "You're a really good employee, and they're lucky to have you over there. You helped their program and whatever." And so it was all good, but yeah, it was just that exchange that I was just like, "Oh, like I didn't even apply," and like she was like, "Oh, I talked to your manager," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, and she had given me no warning, like within the past, I would have expected maybe a text or like an email and saying like, "Hey, I'm about to post it," or "Hey, I finally finished talking to HR. Like, go ahead and look for it, and I'll call you in a bit," or something. But it was just, "Hello? Oh, hey, Laurie, guess what?" Yeah. So.
Oh, jeez.
That's the exciting. So I mean, good news, but awkward. Aqua taco, awkward turtle.
Well, first off, congratulations, Laurie.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Super amazing. But and Mark, I don't know if you're thinking this, but it's so funny because you know what? You're in a couple podcasts ago, we were talking about work with our last guest, Kevin Reyes.
Yeah.
And we compared work to relationships.
Yeah.
And this is what it's so funny because it's like so similar to me. I imagine like your managers are like your ex-boyfriend and his
New
brother
boyfriend?
that you're dating.
Oh.
Because that's all in the same family.
Oh God.
You're right.
Oh yeah.
They talk all the time. It's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm dating your girlfriend now.
Yeah.
I'm like saying it just like in that same.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk? And it's like, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that
Oh,
was
my
so
God.
right.
It's
And then
like
you're
so-
avoiding each other. And you're
Yeah,
trying not
yeah.
to make eye contact.
Yeah.
But you're into
Oh,
you're into the other guy already. Like you're like into.
Yeah,
the
it's like
job.
I'm ready. Like, yeah,
It's better there. I've seen the future.
yeah.
The grass
Yeah.
is definitely
I'm
greener.
But oh, that's so funny. We're making the same comparison with like job interviews and how it's
Mhm.
like the first date and you're like trying to feel it out. So it's funny. This is like the other end of a spectrum. You've already been somewhere for a while. Now you're transitioning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm leaving actually the exact institution that I'm in right now. I've been at actually for almost 5 years. So
Oh, wow.
I'm leaving like the whole building. Bye-bye.
Dang.
New
Yeah, so
world.
that's exciting. Yeah. I mean, kind of.
Well,
It's like
you
a half new
delved
world.
into
It's like a
it.
step. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is different because it's from like a big like metropolitan kind of hospital to a smaller like local one that's more like
Mm.
homey and stuff. So
True.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was my day today. And I was like, oh my God. And all day I was like, should I go talk to him? Like that's like thinking in a relationship sense, I was asking all my like coworkers that I'm close with, I was just like, so do I go talk to him? I mean, they already talked, like it's fine, right? Like
It's like the easy way out. Like they already know.
yeah, I was like, you already
They
know,
know, I
I
don't
don't
need to
need
say
to
anything.
address it. Yeah, like, and they were like, maybe you should go talk to him. And then one of my other coworkers was like, nah, just send an email. It's like sending a text. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
And then it turns out wholesome when you talk to him anyway.
yeah, it did turn out well, which honestly was not expected. It's very out of character. It makes me very suspicious, but
Mm.
it's fine. It's whatever.
It's not worth thinking about now. Now
No.
it's
Yeah.
just celebration.
It's great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Celebration.
Nice.
That was my news that I was like, I posted on Twitter and I was like, I'm like, your girl got a new job, or your girl put her notice to transfer. And I was like,
Nice.
going to good vibes, fostering growth. Yeah.
Nice.
That kind of
Amen.
There
thing.
you go. There
That's-
you go.
Freaking amazing.
Thanks.
It's making the moves. So,
Anything new with you guys? Oh.
Oh. well, I
I'm not
mean,
asking questions.
Matt, if you do you have anything new going on?
Work-wise, not really. So I mean, I've just transitioned into a new job. It's like actually been my 1 month here. But no, truth be told, it's nothing exciting. I feel like the major change is really interesting because my environment changes. Now I work from home every day. So,
I get that. I mean, not working from home, but a change in environment.
mhm. So I mean, it's been crazy because I changed environment twice already
Mhm.
within the last year, essentially year and a half, if anything, or I guess a year and a month, right? Because I like moved from my old company to here with Goldman, and then I moved from here to this other company all within 1 year. So it's like been so many different environments that I'm experiencing. So it's been super fun. But I also think I'm at a stage where I'm still testing the waters, so to speak. So it naturally is like a little uncomfortable. I miss the old world, but I think it takes some time. At least for me, that's how it always is. Like I need to adjust a little bit, and then I start to see like all the benefits, all the beauty of it. But it is awesome. Working from home is like super sick. I literally can get my work done and then do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a good balance, but you have to find that balance. So I'm looking for that still.
True.
Fair.
But it's like, I
Yeah.
mean, truth be told, it's kind of like as long as you're getting your work done, right? It's like the same thing with like working like an office job. It's like when I used to work at like UCF, like the only time I really have to work is like if I have to send out emails, which it's gonna take like what 15 minutes tops, or like I'm talking to a student that comes in, right? The other time, like, what am I supposed to do? Pretend like I'm working? I literally have nothing to do. So what am I doing? I'm watching anime.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the same thing. Like if you're working at home, like if there's no work to be done, like as long as you're getting your work done, like is there
Yeah.
really like an issue? Like, you know?
Yeah. So for me, the thing is, there's two different things for me about working from home or just like transitioning. So I feel like there's a phase in work where you just start working, everything feels new, you're not sure if you're really good at your job, you don't want to make anyone angry, you're like testing the waters. I'm started to reach to me, in my opinion, I've reached another level where I'm like, dang, I can now see the value I bring somewhere, and because of that, it makes it so much easier to work from home. So I'm not
Nice.
questioning, do I have to be doing something all the time? Do I need to just be on my computer even though I'm not doing anything? Now I can say, I know what I'm good at. This is why they want me here, and I deliver on that. And then everything else is like, as long as I do that, I'm good. But I know what it
Right.
is now. So now it's like a good comfort and like confidence, I think is the word now that I have at work, which feels really good.
I get that. Yeah.
That's good. That's super good. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking with like a friend of mine, like, and we kind of got into like how like we kind of like suffer from like self-doubt. I feel like everyone kind of does a little bit, but like it's a huge game changer to start like having confidence in like the work that you're doing, whether that's legit like employment work or like doing like drawing, making music, like whatever sort of thing you're putting efforts towards. Like just having confidence in knowing that I can do this and I'm doing it like well. It's just like it just game changing. You don't have to worry. Like there aren't other thoughts plaguing your mind. Like, oh, like you said, like, oh, am I doing this job well enough? Should I be doing more? Like, what to do? And it's just it like things just kind of become easier once you know I'm good at this, and I should be proud of like whatever I'm doing. But man, we got that was some juicy stuff.
Yay! Thanks, guys. I'm
It,
glad
now-
to.
it fulfilled my expectation, Laura. Before
really?
we
It
move on,
did?
I want to say this. Yeah. And
Okay,
then you
good.
also, Mark, managed my expectation, and you guys did by saying it's not a side project; it's her main project. I'm like, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
But
This
Mark
is-
didn't even know.
I didn't know. I was just like,
You didn't
oh,
know?
it's
That's
yeah.
good.
I didn't know. I was like,
This is
it's not a
like-
side project. It's a main project. Whoa!
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, it's a little side.
some
That's good, though,
context.
yeah.
Some context for the viewers. Before we were prepping for the call, Lori introduced this news, but she said we couldn't look at Twitter because she already announced it.
I was like,
So-
oh, it might be good for the podcast. We'll just talk about it later. I'll surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
It is
So
a surprise.
And it delivered. It delivered, and all. It wasn't overhyped. It was just enough hype.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyways, Mark, you were gonna.
I guess to open up the podcast, we usually ask in the beginning about like a conversation question of sorts, because the goal of the podcast is to get us as hosts and even the guests just to get people better at having conversations. So a question I want to throw to you, Laurie, and Matt, you as well, is this. So we talk about this a lot, about like just kind of like communicating more. The best way to do is by practicing, right? So my question is, when was the last time you reached out to somebody like outside of your like immediate friend circle just to like catch up? Whether it was just like a, hey, how's it going? Even like a happy birthday that spreads to like another conversation. Like if you can think about like, when was the last time that you reached out to somebody? Anyway.
Dude, all you said was last time you reached out, having a full-on conversation. Dang. Just kidding.
Dang.
Doesn't have
I
to be
feel
a
like
full
that's
conversation.
so-
Just like a small bit of just like, hey, how's it going? And even
Well,
if it ends there.
I guess like the most recent thing, and was actually like, it's definitely way out of my friendship circle, is I sent a happy birthday message to a basically it was one of my other childhood best friends. Her birthday is October 8th, mine is February 8th, so we've always like remembered 8 is like has been our shared favorite number from
Nice.
I mean, at least I think it's still hers. And it was very brief, and she actually came out with on her birthday, she plugged a poetry book that she wrote and self-published and released on her
Oh, wow.
like birthday on Amazon. So
Oh,
I was just
nice.
like, oh my gosh, happy birthday, and like, how are you doing? And I mean, it was very brief, and I'm assuming it was just because she was out for her birthday celebrating as she should, and but she shared with me her book, and she was just like, thanks so much. And then I told her that I was going to send it to one of my other friends who like loves this like because she's very about culture. Like if you follow her on social media, she's like learn about the Middle East, like I think, and like she can get very political. She's like, I think she teaches too, so she's very like that. So her poetry is like kind of it's called City Girl Village Heart, because she's like from that kind of like background. So it just having that, I was just like, oh, this is so good. I'm so proud of you. And when I told her I would share it with somebody who enjoys that kind of writing, she was just like, oh, thanks so much. And, you know, it was very brief, but in the end, she was just like, oh, love you. And then I was like, oh my God, love you. And I honestly haven't like, you know, caught up with her in like a while. So it was just a very brief exchange, but I felt like it was very, I don't know, it was heartwarming because, you know, like I met her in first grade. And so I knew her throughout the time that I lived in New Jersey, which I moved when I was in 7th grade. So, but she was her and my other friends, like you guys have met her, I think before, Monique, her and Monique were my 2 like childhood best friends, like in elementary school. So
that was the squad.
Yeah, that
Nice.
was my squad. Yeah. So that was really cool to like see her do. And I was like, I'm going to buy this on my next paycheck, which is next week. So I haven't bought it yet, but I started it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool. Nice.
So it was the birthday that like triggered the start.
Yeah.
And then you was it
and
like
then
a post with the book?
Yeah, I had also seen a post with a book. So then I said, this is awesome. Like I said, happy birthday first. And then I saw her post about the book and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to buy this. Like, where can I get it? And she gave me the link and I was like, this is so cool.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. I didn't even know that she wrote like that, to be honest, but that was cool.
I feel like that's even cooler. I mean, it's cool because it sounds like you haven't kept in touch, but then you can see the growth in your friend over time. And she's
I'm really proud of
talent.
her. Like I'm not like, I honestly don't like talk to her, but out of a lot of people I follow on social media, like out of my old friends, like she's probably like the coolest person that I know, like the coolest. She travels a lot too, seen the 7 Wonders. Like she has a lot of posts like, yeah, she has like, and then I think she launched like a little mini travel website too, just at the same time as the book. So
dang, that's awesome. She's killing the game.
She really is.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna send her this.
That's so cool.
Her name's Shahina. Love you.
So City Girl Village Heart.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yo,
that's so sick. I feel like I actually want to check it out now. Yeah. Just like to see the history. And I feel like poetry is one of those things I've slowly started to appreciate a little bit more. So that'll be good. It'll be cool having the context now too.
Yeah.
I feel like it adds so much more value.
We can even add a link in the description.
Oh, cool.
The YouTube
I'll let her know.
We'll do that.
A little plug.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? Have you reached out to anyone outside your immediate friend circle?
So I actually had to think about this. It's kind of heartbreaking when you have to think hard about this. But it's also part of the beauty of it, right? Is that like you have a group of friends that you always talk to.
Yeah.
And then there's the outer circle. So as long as you can think that you've done it recently, that's cool. So and actually I think the most recent one was one of my old high school friends. We used to be super close in high school. Like it was actually me, Raymar, which I'm sure you guys know. And then him, we used to do like our English projects all the time together. And then like for fun, what we would do, we'd play Xbox, like after school, like Call of Duty all the time. But then he went to Villanova for college and then I went to UCF. And then we ended up playing League of Legends a little bit in high school, but we didn't play that much afterwards and we kind of lost touch with each other. And then the other day, like, I found him online and like he doesn't play that often and I don't play that often anymore. And then we ended up playing together and then actually like catching up. And it was amazing because like he's in New York now, I'm in Chicago. And it's so cool. Like now we've made our own moves, but still this video game brought us together. That was kind of like the glue. And it was like, I don't know, it was like really nice to catch up with him because he was such a good friend that it wasn't like we ever even had a falling out. It was just time, circumstance, and you kind of get busy with life. But then you like find a small opening to rekindle that friendship, and I'm like really happy that we were able to do that. So
that's good.
It meant a lot. It was great catching up with him.
Is it the Dark Tiger?
No, the Dark Tiger was one of them, but
I thought it was.
This one, his name's Merked by Poop.
Okay.
So
So I
that's
know
I'm
it is.
sure.
I know it is. Okay.
But yeah, and it's cool too because we follow each other on social media, and it's cool seeing his life develop in his own world, and then like his whole story that I don't know anyone in his pictures anymore, anything that he's doing, um, and then like we can still come back to where we were before and connect, but now we're so different, but we still have that bond. So it's so interesting. Like I'm really excited. Hopefully, like I can make a trip to New York and actually visit him and catch up with him on person because I feel like that will be like
Fun.
really,
Yeah.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely, that's like on my bucket list. Like
Nice.
not bucket list, but like soon to be travel
Right.
moves.
Nice. That's super cool.
What about you, Mark? Do you have anyone in mind?
Yeah, it was funny because it actually happened yesterday. Yeah, it was last night.
Ooh.
It was just like a random
Sounds juicy.
talk with one of my old friends. You guys know him. Maybe he'll guest on the podcast sometime. You know, Shoot You.
Oh yeah.
So
We're just like, oh yeah.
I do know that guy.
so
Oh, he's a good guy. What a good guy.
for those of you who don't know, he was like an old friend of ours that we all kind of knew from college, from like our Filipino Student Association days and stuff like that, and just being involved with that and just meeting people, and it was cool just like catching up with him, and it was funny because at one point like I was about to like I was trying to get into a league, and the league servers were down, so I was like, okay, I got time to like chit chat a bit. And then I eventually got in, and I was like, yo, sorry if I'm not like, feel free to keep talking, and sorry if it takes me a while to respond because I'm in a game, because like we kind of got into like a meaty conversation, and I was like, shit, I'm in game right now. But it was definitely cool just like talking with them. Like it was funny because we kind of got into like a really deep conversation, and it was kind of like therapeutic for like both of us just to kind of like be open and honest with each other, and like not like worry about like judgment, because like we're good friends and stuff, but it felt super good to just like kind of talk and just like get it out of like our systems. And then like we even ended it, we were like, dang, it's like 2 a.m. and I gotta get up in like 4 hours. But it was awesome. Like it was awesome talking to you again, and like, you know,
Oh.
I'm excited to like do it again. And like one thing, like he mentioned that he wanted to like, he's having a hard time like just like kind of like building like good habits. And like one thing he said, like he wanted to start reading the Bible more. And I was like, why don't you like put the Bible like on your pillow before you like in the middle of the day, or even like when you wake up, so then before you go to bed you have to pick up the Bible,
You gotta do
right? You got to pick it up, and once you pick it up, you're gonna be like, all right, let me just like, let me open it real quick, let me just read a passage, and then, you know, get the check mark done for the day. Just something to get you started. And I was like, I'm gonna keep tabs on you, man. Now that you told me that you're struggling to do this, let me be the one to help you, like be accountable for it, just to help you like almost be like, dang, Mark's an ass.
Oh,
Like,
so good.
oh, am I actually doing this? Just to like, just the small things, you know. And it also gives like it's like a weird, like, I don't want to call it like an excuse, but it's almost like a reason in the back of my mind to be like, oh, let me like check up on him. Let me check the tabs on him and see is he really doing it? If not, be like, you goofing, man. Step up the game. But it was definitely a lot of fun, and it was cool. Just like I feel like with all of us, just like being able to like reach out and almost like refine that bond of friendship with whoever you were talking to, whether it was like Laurie, like with your old childhood friend, even Matt, like your high school friend. For me, it was like friend in college, like where it's
Oh yeah.
the joint kind of like experiences were all like very positive, no matter like how far the distance of like friendship was.
Oh.
Dang,
So that was super cool.
it was wholesome.
Oh,
Hey.
since you popped it up, and it was in an awkward silence moment, we gotta ask,
Yeah.
what you drinking there?
Haven't tried it yet. This will be my review. This is called some vodka soda.
Oh,
It has pineapple in it.
High noon.
Pineapple. So we'll see. It was on sale at ABC Liquor this week. So
all
we
right.
go.
We'll hear your review your review
Cheers.
throughout the
Online
show.
cheers.
Oh yeah, online cheers. Let's go.
Cheers.
I guess if you're just listening to this, then click.
Not next to you, above.
No, yeah,
To the
we
camera.
Oh, I gotta go down.
No.
Oh God.
Cheers.
This is actually really good. It's like I mean, it's like pineapple juice, but obviously a little watered down and bubbly. That's basically.
If you could describe it as if you were like a bougie food critic, how would you describe it?
It's got some very strong taste. Pineapple.
Why do you have that accent?
No,
It's
it's good. It's better,
bougie.
it's better this way.
I don't know. That's basically it. It's just
That's 4
pineapple
stars.
and soda. Tastes like it has maybe only 45% juice.
45%.
I don't know. Just kidding. It says made with real juice.
Oh, well, that sounds quality.
Yeah, I
Nice.
like it.
True.
I like how it looks.
It does. I like the design. For me, it's interesting because now I feel like beer is so diverse at a liquor store that it's almost like going to a bookstore where I like pick beer sometimes based off
How it
like, the
looks.
cover
Mhm.
looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How it looks and if it's on sale.
Yeah, those are
Yeah, that
definitely
definitely
the
is-
two big factors.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I know we have a couple of topics on the table. Mark, do you want to like introduce the next one?
Yeah. So this is kind of like relevant to me, and I know you recently got back into it, and we're talking about getting back into school and like taking classes again. Now, I guess for my circumstances, it was kind of just like, I'm not really like doing much, so let me try to like, I had the opportunity to go back and start taking classes again. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and do this to kind of get the ball rolling for me, right? Because like I was kind of like at a standstill. I was kind of like unhappy with like the jobs I was able to get. So I was like, let me go back to school and kind of open up new avenues that way. So I guess like my question, just to start it off, is what kind of brought you to start taking classes again? Well, because I guess to give some background, you're not like, it's not like you're going for like, I'm going for like a brand new degree, so it's something like completely out of my field. But you're going for
It's my master's in nursing, and the actual degree itself is called nursing and healthcare simulation. So I decided to go back to school because I have always told myself that I was going to go back to school like and get at least a graduate degree at one point. It was more focused. So background for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm a nurse. And so initially the goal was to be a nurse practitioner, which is like, it was a master's back then, but now a lot of like certifications have been changing and like the way that the laws work and whatever. So I think it's becoming like a more of a doctorate program now, like across the country.
wow, nice.
Which is like, yeah, which is good. It's awesome. But I guess from my experience working on the floor and working alongside some of these nurse practitioners and doctors, it just wasn't what I ended up wanting to do. So the degree that I'm going in now focuses on like simulation, and you'd be an educator of some type. So it could be like nurse educator, but it can also work at like, you could be a simulation like program creator, or like curriculum creator or something like at like any another place that might need like your skills. So this is kind of teaching you how to go through and create these like, like simulation scenarios, like is one of the projects for one of my classes right now.
Oh wow. Dang.
Yeah. So it's not like the technical like computer like coding and stuff. It's more like, here's your patient. These are your objectives you want your learners to learn.
Mhm.
How are you going to help them learn those objectives?
Oh, that's super
like
cool.
scenario.
So-
It's like you're like designing scenarios.
So-
It's like you kind of like
designing-
make the puzzle for them to solve. Like it's like
Yeah.
the lessons that you want them to learn. It's
Yeah.
how do you create the puzzle so then they can actually do it in a simulated setting, right?
Yeah, learn for in a simulation setting versus like in real life patient care. So like at least here in the simulation, like no harm to the patient because it's not a real patient.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's also
yeah.
less pressure too. Like where it's like I mean, there isn't the weight of like, oh, I have like someone's life on the line. It's like it's a simulation just to get you like almost as comfortable in
to learn like those, to like practice those psychomotor skills, those like those that cognitive thinking, critical thinking, and then to like it's to get those, how do you call it, like that muscle memory almost for like some of these things, so that when you encounter it in real life, you're kind of just like, okay, this is not too foreign for me. Like, so here we go. And I mean, I didn't realize it sooner, but I do like teaching people and like helping them learn. Like I've been like a preceptor at work where I help new employee get oriented and get their training. And I have like, I like being that person that somebody comes to for help and it's just like, hey, help me figure this out. And if I was like, if I know how to do it, I'll help you figure it out. Like that's cool with me. So and I think, and this is also coming from personal experience, I think a lot of like, I think nurses nowadays have a lot on their hands just because the way like healthcare is just, and you hear this kind of conversation all the time, like healthcare is trying to be more efficient. We're trying to like deal with more with less.
Right. So
I remember being so overwhelmed when I was a new nurse and I was like, how can I help that feeling? So I was like, so hopefully, I don't know, if this all works out in the end, I can help somebody else be a nurse and be a better nurse and hopefully feel less stressed out. And like maybe maybe so that they don't like hate where they are, where they end up being, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not talking personally, but
I feel like that's super
awesome.
cool though.
That's like such a cool,
yeah,
it's a cool driver.
That
that is a super cool degree. So if like, could you, I know it sounds like you have a project coming up where you actually design a simulation. Could you describe it like pretty high level where like someone like me and Mark could understand?
High level? Describe it more high level?
Yeah, like there was a bus crash and there's 10 patients.
Oh my gosh. See,
like,
see,
is that like the scenario kind of thing?
I think because so we have this is my first class and there is a project at the end and it's just, she's like, oh, come up with a scenario. And so then I had this idea for like a 3-patient scenario.
Okay.
And I kind of messaged, well, no. You're getting too hyped up. Calm down.
No, we can solve this. Me and Mark can solve this.
No.
I'm great at puzzles.
You're not doing it right.
We'll experiment with the first one.
No, stop.
Okay.
And we got 2 more tries.
Down. I'm.
Okay. We failed.
Like, you failed.
You failed. You're not even listening to the rules. You killed your patient. And so I had emailed this idea to the teacher because I was just like, I don't know, is this like, how does this sound? And she was just like, this is honestly your first class. She's like, you're making it way too difficult for yourself. Focus on one patient, one scenario, and get all these like, in the works. Maybe this multiple patient scenario that you're coming up with can be your capstone. So I didn't even know there was a capstone. I didn't look into the program that much, but there's a capstone like later on. So I guess that would be, I don't know how that's related, but
what is
I don't know how that'll come into play. It's like
is that like a final
like
project?
Your ultimate, you're like your
It's
ultimate
like senior
program.
design.
Oh, okay.
Of your, like the ultimate project of your program.
Oh, okay.
To like pass or fail kind of thing. I think. Like performance, whatever.
Gotcha.
At least that's how I understand it. Whenever I've only really ever heard capstone when I've heard like business majors or things like that. So I honestly, and I always hear it's like stressful. So I'm just like, what? But so that's essentially what. So it's like, but basically now it's just like you focus on one picture, one clinical picture of a disease and a patient who has the disease. And then you want your learner to come in and be like, oh, I'm going to do these actions and then I'm going to figure out the problem and then I'm going to make appropriate action within a certain time frame. And then if you don't, then you have to like, formulate a debriefing process and then be like, how can we make this a learning process? Like, because it's not bad that you didn't do it right. Kind of thing.
You have to like grade them off of it as well.
Yeah.
It's like end to end. You're designing.
Yeah, we have to design like a measurement tool, like an evaluation tool, and then or utilize one that's already in existence. There's a lot of like, there's so much more research in this than like I've ever done in my whole life. Like it's only been like maybe like a month, and I hang out on the UCF library database website.
Just like
Because-
looking
Dang.
Yeah,
at random.
yeah, and so like I'm like reading all these things, and I'm just like, wow, this is really cool. But like I have to cite every little thing. I didn't know this was so important, but it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
super
it's
cool.
cool because I've never looked into so much like research in my life before.
So a bus crash is kind of extreme.
It's
We're not there
too
yet.
extreme. Yeah.
We're working at one patient
I'm
at a
like a
time.
baby. I'm like maybe my patient has a cough, and you got to be like, let me listen to your lungs,
Gotcha. Okay.
and it'd be like, if you don't listen, then I'm like, fail. Just kidding.
Shit.
0, start over.
How can you not listen to the lungs? They're coughing. Something like that, maybe.
Gotcha. That's cool. That sounds super fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
And I think what's super cool too is like the subject at hand is really interesting, but then your driving force to start it, it seems like you really have a good idea of why you're doing it,
hmm
which I think is so important when you have to go back to school. You have to have a reason why because it's so hard to like push yourself back
Oh
into
my
it.
gosh, it's so hard, guys. Working full time plus a graduate school program is a terrible idea. Don't do it.
Mhm. You heard that, everyone?
I'm gonna try to cut down to one class a
tips.
semester. I'm taking 2 right now, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm doing this with everything.
Yeah,
That's my only thing. Yeah.
it's crazy. Like I was thinking back on it, and I was just like, man, how did we? I mean, I guess like
Do this in college.
yeah, I was like, how did we take like four classes and be like, all right, I got like days to dick around and not do anything. I mean, granted, now like we're busy with life, work, stuff like that. But even then, like, I mean, you could kind of say the same thing like in college for some people. Like some people are working part time. They're taking like 4
Yeah, that's
classes
true.
too, and like they're able to manage it and still like party on the weekends. And it's just like, man, like there are times where it's just like, okay, yeah, Laurie, you're in like graduate school, classes are gonna be harder, more professional and stuff like that. But for me, it's just like I'm just going for like another degree, like an AS degree, and I'm like feeling overwhelmed with like 3 classes. I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know how I did this.
It is hard. Yeah, it's hard to like balance your time. I think because I still haven't mastered it yet.
Dang it, I was
That's
gonna.
why, but that's why I was like, hey, like your podcast.
I was actually
Dude,
gonna
like-
ask. I was like, because like obviously for me, like I'm just basically like full school. I kind of
Yeah.
work, but like it's like
Yeah.
work like 4 hours a week. So it's just like, is that
Yeah.
really work? But I was gonna ask you, like, how do you find like a way to like manage like your life, your work, and school without like going insane?
I mean, I'm trying. So I've basically treated my off days from work as like another like work day, but it's just like working from home, for example, or working from a coffee shop. Like I like bring everything, and I have to be like, okay, I have to do this because I literally don't have any other time if I don't get it done today. Because a lot of my like my weekly deadlines have fallen on Wednesday and Thursday.
Mhm.
It's like you have to post something on this and then follow up with it on Sunday. So it's like if I don't post it, and then like let's say my only day off is Tuesday, so I'm like, okay, I have to do it then, or else like it's just not going to get posted. And I think the coolest thing about being in this graduate program compared to when I was an undergrad, a lot of the ideas and subjects that I talk about, it can be original, and there's no like wrong answer. Everything has been like so open ended, but I just have to have enough background or like enough research and like APA citations to show that I'm not just bullshitting myself. So
Right.
which is cool. So I can talk about anything. I just need to be able to follow it up. Like I have to have substance behind it.
Mhm.
So that's what's freeing about it, but it also is what's tedious about it. And in the end, that's why I'm like, gotta get it done, or else I can never do it. Like I can't just like Google it answers later.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's that, and then like I've been pretty like OCD about getting like 7 hours of sleep, I think. Even, and then like, so let's say I work, then I go to sleep at like 10. I woke up this past Wednesday, I think. No, this past Tuesday, I woke up at 6 a.m. It was my day off, but I woke up at 6 a.m. because I was just like, I need to get this done. I was like stressing out about it. But then I made sure I got like 7 hours of sleep. And then I'm like, all right, just knock it out. And then I was done by 6 p.m. So with what I wanted to do for the day. So then I was able to like relax. I was brain dead, but I was like, all right, I get to chill. So I mean, it is like, it's just like prioritization. That's all it is.
True.
And yeah. And then I still made time to go to the gym.
There you go.
That's important too. So I did a quick little like workout there just to like de-stress.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess another question, because if people who are watching the stream now, they know like when I have homework, like I'll do like a stream of just like me like working on a lab, just kind of like hanging out. Because the way that I like to work to avoid like burning out is I like to have like small distractions like repeatedly, like maybe like every 5 minutes, and then kind of like do a little bit of work, then like chill talk, and then like go back to work. So like for me, streaming like a lab report, I get it done pretty efficiently, even though like I'm kind of just like talking like back and forth. Because I know some people, they prefer to just get it all done in like one long go. But then like let's just say I have like 3 lab reports, they kind of like burn out. Like I guess like if I were to do it
after
like
the first one,
I would just burn out after the first one, and instead of taking like a 30-minute break, I would be like, all right, 30 minutes is enough. Let me go prep some food. Let me go like goof off a bit, and then I had to drag myself back and be like, oh, okay, I gotta do this.
To start all over, yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, like, what do you do to like avoid like burning out, like when you have like a large workload?
Well, I have to not be home, because home, I start then I start looking at my environment, and I'm like, oh, let me start cleaning, let me start cooking, let me start doing this. So that's why I have to leave. And then I don't take them as often as you, but I kind of go in about 30 minutes. Like I actually have a timer. I'll put a timer on my phone, and I'll do 30 minutes. So I'm at a coffee shop or the library. I'll do 30 minutes straight, like focusing on what I need to do. And then a timer goes off, and it's usually 5 minutes. Occasionally it'll be 10 minutes. I'll take a 5 or 10 minute break. And that's just me like on social media or catching up on a text that I didn't reply because it was my 30-minute working time. So that's why I'm a terrible texter. Or like answering an email, like just anything that isn't what I'm doing at the moment. But then again, I'm limited because I'm at a coffee shop. I can't like go end up cleaning for an hour and be like, oh crap, what happened to my 5-minute timer?
Right.
So yeah, or like go take a bathroom break, like give myself a bathroom break. And so I'll do that 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and then just keep doing that until like what I wanted to do is done. And then when I finally knock something out that I wanted to do, then I like, if I'm at the library or if I'm like at the coffee shop, I'll like decide if I want to switch locations. So I've gone between like a coffee shop and a library just so that I don't waste too much money. But either that, or if I'm at home, because sometimes I can focus at home, it's just like not as good. But if I'm at home and I finally finish something, then I'll like take 15 minutes, and it's like a little reward, like, oh, good job, you finished something. Here's like a little bit longer of a break. Go watch a YouTube video, or go watch like part of an episode of something, or go read a book. Like whatever I checked out from the library.
Nice.
So just something that I enjoy in between. But then I try to keep them short, because I think if you take too many long breaks, you lose your momentum, and then you're gonna start all over again. Like you lose that like train of thought. Because sometimes even if I think I'm like, dang, like I don't want to stop now because I'm on such a good like.
You're on a roll, right?
Yeah, I'm on a roll, and I'm like typing out this paragraph, and I only have like 3 more sentences. Like, let me ignore this. I try not to ignore that 5-minute break. Like then I'm just like, okay, just a 5-minute break. Just because if you ignore it, then you end up burning out, like what you were talking about. Because then I'm like that 3 more sentences turns into another hour, and now I didn't even have a timer on because I forgot to reset my timer, and now I'm burnt out, and now I can't do any more work for the rest of the day.
Dang, so that's funny, because
so you have to like. So if I'm on a roll, I'm just like, okay, just take the 5 fucking minutes, go to the fucking bathroom, and then like, because maybe even though you think you're thinking well, maybe it's becoming cloudy. And your judgment is off because you've been working just so hard for like the past 30 minutes. So like, oh, just take the fucking break is what I think. Yeah.
That's funny, because I'm the opposite. Yeah. If I'm like on a roll, I'm like, screw it. Like I'm going to just finish the roll, and then like I'll be like, all right, once once I'm like done with like that thought, I'll be like, all right, time to walk away.
But I want to say I think that's how most people are. But then that's when they end up rewarding themselves for a longer
For
break
too long?
because they're just like, "Ooh, I finally finished it, so let me take this longer break." And then you don't start back up right away after your break is done. So then you end up
Okay.
like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because that's what I used to think too. I'd be like, "Oh, let me just finish this like assignment. It's only going to take me maybe 20 more minutes." And I'm like, but then at the end of that 20 minutes, then I don't want to start on my next one because I'm just like, "Oh, I worked so hard on this last one." Whereas if you just take that 5 minutes, then you're like, oh, then you're still a little bit on that high from like being on your roll. So you're not off of the roll. You're still on the roll.
Yeah.
And so you can keep continuing it for the next 30 minutes and then hopefully again you end on a peak rather than a tro.
Yeah.
And then you can keep that going. So that's why I think because at least that helps my mind. Like there's always a part of you that's like, oh, I can just finish this, like let me just finish it and skip this break. No, it's just take the fucking break. Just take the fucking break.
It's interesting because I could
That's what
definitely definitely see it because I know if I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget it. So that's why I feel like I have to finish it.
Well, I think you can like bullshit it for yourself because it's yourself who's gonna fix it up later.
But I can definitely understand where it's just like, oh, since like you kind of like over reward yourself by like, oh, you know, I went over the time limit. I definitely deserve a couple pats on the back. And let me take a longer break to compensate because I worked overtime. Like, you know, like I could definitely see, like after you talked about it, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense as to like why that kind of does happen.
Yeah.
Where you just kind of like, oh, I definitely deserve an extra long break because I did this.
Half an hour. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting. So Laurie, you basically have you heard of like the Pomodoro system?
I learned about that in high school or college, yeah. And I did do it like that, yeah.
Because I mean, it's the exact concept, but they do 25 minutes and then 5-minute breaks.
Yeah.
25,
But that was too weird of a number for me. I needed it to be even.
Oh.
But I did, and then I used to try in college. I used to try 45 minutes, 15 minutes, but the 15 minutes was too long.
It's too
for
long
me,
to
too
do
long of a break. So the 5 minutes, I think the 5 minutes is actually like a good thing.
Yeah. The thing that's really cool about the system, because I do the same system. I do 25 minutes, 5 minutes. So the cool thing is when you're on a roll, you barely need a system, but you have to keep it sacred. Because when you really need the system is when you're not on a roll.
Yeah.
So then you have this 25 minutes and it feels like so hard. You do like 2 sentences and it's like, I didn't do anything. But then your moment of brilliance hits when you come back from the 5-minute break. That's how it always works for me.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And then I like for a while what I started to do, I considered it hyper focus. I said I have a playlist called Pomodoro Hyper Focus.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's like 25 minutes of like music that's like focus music and then 5 minutes of meditation music.
Oh.
So I don't do anything but I meditate for 5 minutes.
I have a question. What because I have a focus music too, and I just YouTube any random shit. But I mean I know what it is now, but what is your focus music then? Like you're saying it's focus, is it music with words? Is it instrumentals? Is it random beats?
Yeah, so for my hyper focus, it's 2 songs. It's literally 2 songs. One song is called Yuri on Ice. It's like a piano, no lyrics. It's all piano keys. And it's like, for me, I mean, I love the piano. To me, it's like my spirit instrument because me and Mark grew up with it. So that's mine. It's Yuri on Ice. But usually if it's a general thing, I'll do like Explosions in the Sky. So it's all instrumental still. So that's all my focus.
Can I tell you, I feel like I'm crazy, but my best focusing, thanks for the laughter, but my best focus music, like when I get the most shit done, if you YouTube binaural beats.
I've listened to those.
Yeah.
It's like, but I will listen to it for hours. And the 3-hour video will run out and I'd be like, crap, where's another binaural beats video? And I mean, but then during my 5-minute breaks, I put it on pause and I like either listen like dead silence or I play like fun music for 5 minutes, like during whatever I'm doing. But then like the moment my 30 minutes up, okay, start again. And it's just YouTube because I don't even download it. It's just on my laptop because I'm connected to Wi-Fi at my free coffee shop, at the library for free. And then I just have it playing in the background. And that's but I feel like, and I sometimes make it so loud that I cannot hear any outside music. And then I take, and then my headphones are out afterwards, and I have like ringing in my ears of like different beats going in and out of my head, and I'm just like, I'm nuts, I'm crazy, I'm crazy.
So I mean, I do when I'm super focused. I only listen to one song.
Yeah, that's
And I repeat it, and I do it so much, and eventually it's like I'm not even listening to the music anymore, but like it's just in the background.
Yeah.
But I mean, in a lot of different, that the concept that we're talking about is pretty common in a lot of different like types of work. People usually call it like flow, is like what they call it in my industry, and like or like in tech, when people are coding, they call it flow, and it's just where you like almost lose track of time, and you're just so in the zone of what you're doing. And then there's a lot of study about how you get into it and how you need to take breaks and all this stuff. So it's really,
Wasn't
really,
there a book?
really cool.
There's a book like that's named Flow, isn't there?
There probably
I'm
is.
sure there is. Like
Like
talking about like the
some-
flow state and like.
Maybe. Okay. I
But
feel like I've definitely seen this as a book, but now I didn't realize it was like a term in like tech or in
yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of people use the word flow for that.
Interesting. Cool. I didn't
But-
know that.
Speaking of time,
Sorry.
it's crazy. We're basically already at the conclusion time,
Yeah.
Really?
which is nuts. I feel like we've been in a flow this whole hour.
Yeah.
It's crazy how fast it all went by. But yeah, Mark, before we do anything, I figured I'd pass it back over to you and see if you want to ask any last questions or if you want to go into.
I think it's about that
Our
time.
closing
I think
statements.
it's a good ending point. Unfortunately, we do have to end it because there's definitely still like to be honest, like we only got through like maybe like half of the talking points that we had like planned, but that's okay. Like that's kind of like the fun part of this. It's just like, you know, there's always more to talk about. So I mean, unfortunately, Laurie, we're probably gonna have to get you back here again. So
Oh dang! Gotta talk to you guys.
I know. It's so boring and
Mark
just
didn't
terrible.
even hear it. Oh no.
Oh, I heard it.
Oh, okay.
I heard it.
Yeah, we're cutting that.
But unfortunately, hopefully all of you guys enjoyed it, whether you're watching it live here on Twitch or watching it on YouTube, maybe eventually sometime on Spotify. We'll see. We're in the works of that. But if you're watching it live here on Twitch, don't forget you can always follow me here so you get notified whenever I go online. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's AlmostAwesomePros on YouTube. I believe I don't know if you guys have checked it out. I don't know if it's just like because it's relevant for me, but if you search up like Almost Awesome Podcast, I know for me like the playlist shows up as like the first one, and then if you don't see the playlist, there should be like a bunch of episodes. Again, we got 16 out there, and I'm pretty sure we're like the only Almost Awesome podcast. There's like another one, but it's kind of like died out and it's like years ago. So you can always follow us there, Almost Awesome Pros at YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. That's what is it? At AlmostAwesome_IG, right? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
Instagram.
we'll post up like small little clips there, different like quotes and stuff, just like little bits of content, just to make it readily available for everybody. You can also follow us here on Twitter. You can follow me, Pirate Lola, at Pirate Lola 514. You can follow Matt, Kid Reynolds, Laurie at _Laurie Rey. And you guys have any shout outs? Anything you want to plug?
Hey, Mom. Not exactly a plug, but yeah, definitely. I think the Instagram is pretty sweet. I've been trying to work on that. I'll keep developing content, but we also try to put update the story right before we go live. So if you also need a reminder and you want to catch us in real time, that's a good place to look out. But also, you know, our Twitters are a really good place to look out for that too. Couple things I do want to say. So first off, again, Laurie, thank you so much for, you know, taking your time to be on the show. It means a lot, and it was again like super awesome having you here.
It's
Really
fun.
excited to have you again. And then we always
I'm
ask
really
this.
thinking on it.
We always ask this at the end of the podcast. If you could have someone else on the podcast as our guest, who would you love to see on here?
Did you guys have BJ already?
We have not had BJ.
BJ.
Alright.
Technically speaking, we had him like super early on. He was like in the alpha stages, to be honest.
Wow.
But I truth be told, I have been in talks with him,
Okay.
and just organizing a good
Perfect.
time to have him on. But
I think BJ would be a good one.
All right, you heard it here.
Noted.
We're coming at you at BJMIS. Get off MK. You gotta put some time for the podcast. We'll talk about MK on the podcast. Huh? How about that?
But that's everything for me. Laurie, you looked like you had something to say.
Did I?
Well, like before while Mark was talking, you were like cheesing and you had your phone up.
Oh, I took a story so that I could tag Almost Awesome on Instagram.
Oh,
Yes.
awesome. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. There we
That's
go.
sick.
I was like, oh, I didn't know we had an Instagram. Let me put this on my story.
Boom.
Awesome.
One more follower. Follow us, please. So, Laurie, in our normal conclusion fashion, we have 1 minute left in the podcast, and we dedicate it to you, our esteemed guest. You can use it for whatever you like. But essentially, I'll put a timer on. I'll count you down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, go. And then the floor will be yours for a minute. And then Mark will say bye, and we'll close off the podcast.
All right.
All right?
Sounds good.
So
Let's do it.
give me 1 second. You can collect your thoughts
Use this
now.
time to collect your thoughts and take your
I'm
time.
gonna
Take a
have
deep
heart
breath.
attack. Who do I call?
This is a scenario.
I think I call myself.
Nursing simulation.
Here's a simulation.
Your patient was in a podcast. He had a heart attack.
And your patient works on heart attacks. Who else do you call?
what do you do? Listen. That's it. That's all I remember.
Listen to the lungs, right?
Yes.
Just li-
If they're coughing,
Okay, we're in this, we're in this.
Heart attack.
Did you even
shit.
listen?
Anyway, sorry.
Anyways, we are ready. If you guys are good. Laura, are you good?
I'm good.
Mark, you good?
Oh, I guess forgot to mention this because this is the very beginning. You can always catch us here on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/PirateLolo, Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we're gonna be on the podcast. Usually we try to do like a pre-show around like 8:30. If you want to come in, hang out, and chill, ask us questions before we start, and we might just bring it up in the podcast. So don't forget Monday nights, 8:30. Be there for the pre-show, and we start at 9. But
All right.
whenever you're ready, Laurie.
Laurie, the timer's ready. If you're good.
Right now,
All right.
it's going. Oh,
Oh,
No.
Matt will count you
Oh.
off.
okay.
All right. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So, thank you, Almost Awesome, for having me here. And I guess in my talks with you, I've been reminded that it is your environment matters. So make sure you're in an environment that you feel good in, you feel happy, you're gonna grow in, and take a fucking break every now and then, okay? Mark, take a fucking break. Because what you're doing matters and you're doing great. You're gonna keep on going, but reward yourself because you're awesome. That's
Almost.
it.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.